In professional sports, we're constantly told that records are meant to be broken. Every generation produces an athlete who pushes the boundaries of human performance a little further, redefining what we thought was possible. We saw it with Usain Bolt on the track, we saw it with Michael Phelps in the pool, and we see it constantly in modern basketball. But in the world of global football, or soccer, there is a specific set of numbers that has recently been consolidated. A set of numbers so massive, so deeply tied to an unprecedented mix of genetic longevity and absolute obsession that they might genuinely stand untouched for the next century. Every single one of these records belongs to one man, Cristiano Ronaldo. When people discuss the greatest to ever play the game, the conversation immediately dissolves into subjectivity. Fans argue over play styles, aesthetic beauty, international trophies, and World Cup moments. Those debates are emotional, and because they're emotional, they can never truly be settled. But there is a parallel conversation that completely bypasses emotion. It is the conversation dictated entirely by cold, hard data. When you strip away the club biases, the media narratives, and the personal preferences, you are left with statistical facts. And the statistical facts state that the sheer scale of this single career is objectively unmatched in the history of the sport.
To understand how we arrived at these numbers, you have to break down the exact records he currently holds, starting with the ultimate metric for any attacking football player: official goals. Every manager, scout, and fan knows that scoring a goal is the hardest thing to do on a football pitch. Entire tactical systems are built just to generate a single clear scoring opportunity per match. Most elite strikers spend their careers fighting to reach the 300 or 400 goal milestone before their bodies give out in their early 30s. Cristiano Ronaldo has completely rewritten that trajectory. He stands as the all-time leading goal scorer in the history of official matches, currently sitting at exactly 973 goals. To put that number into perspective for a US sports audience, this isn't just about clearing a benchmark, it is about sustaining an elite scoring output for over 2 decades without a single down year. It requires scoring 40 to 50 goals a year, every single year, from the time you are a teenager until you are past 40. But a legacy isn't built just on the volume of goals. It is built on the stage where those goals are scored. In club football, there is no higher stage than Europe. The UEFA Champions League is where the absolute best clubs from England, Spain, Italy, and Germany face off under the highest pressure imaginable. It is a tournament that has broken some of the most expensive players in history. Ronaldo, however, turned it into his personal playground. He holds the absolute record for the most appearances in Champions League history with 183 matches. But longevity without production is meaningless. Ronaldo didn't just show up for those 183 games, he dominated them. He is the UEFA Champions League record goal scorer with 140 goals. No one else has crossed that threshold. When the lights were the brightest, his efficiency actually increased.
The peak of this European dominance occurred during the 2013-2014 Continental Campaign with Real Madrid. That year, Ronaldo set the world record for the most goals scored in a single Champions League season, finding the back of the net 17 times in a single tournament run. To understand the absurdity of that specific record, you have to realize that most world-class forwards do not score 17 Champions League goals across their entire playing careers. Ronaldo did it in a matter of months. It was a stretch of individual performance that combined clinical finishing, aerial dominance, and physical peak performance in a way the modern game had never seen before. A common criticism leveled against many historic football legends is that they were products of a specific system. Critics like to argue that certain players only succeeded because they stayed within the comfort zone of one specific club, surrounded by the exact same teammates and playing under the exact same tactical philosophy for a decade. Ronaldo's career layout completely invalidates that argument. His legacy is not tied to a single country, a single club, or a single league. He remains the first and only player in football history to win the domestic league title in England with Manchester United
United, in Spain with Real Madrid, and in Italy with Juventus. These are arguably the three most distinct, demanding, and physically taxing domestic leagues of his era. He conquered the fast-paced physical nature of the English Premier League, he mastered the technical high-pressing style of Spain's La Liga, and he adapted perfectly to the notoriously brutal defensive tactics of Italy's Serie A. Wherever he landed, his team won, and he remained the focal point of the attack. Even as his career transitioned into its later stages and he moved outside the traditional European borders, the raw production did not stop. Competing in the Middle East, he shattered the Saudi Pro League single-season goal record by scoring 35 goals in a single campaign, proving that the instinct to find the back of the net is entirely independent of geography. However, as impressive as his club resume is, his international record with the Portugal national team is where the numbers become truly terrifying for future generations.
In international football, you did not get to buy new players or transfer in better teammates. You play with the cards your country is dealt. For decades, Portugal was viewed as a nation that produced elite individual talent but lacked the consistency to dominate the global stage. Ronaldo changed the entire culture of that federation. He currently holds the world record for the most men's international appearances, representing his country 228 times. During that massive span of international service, he didn't just accumulate caps. He became the most lethal international weapon the sport has ever seen. He holds the world record for the most men's international goals, sitting at 143 international goals for Portugal. In a sport where international windows are short, tactical preparation time is minimal, and defensive structures are often incredibly compact, averaging that volume of goals on the world stage is an anomaly that sets him completely apart from any player in the history of the men's game. This level of unprecedented, relentless on-pitch performance inevitably bled into life off the pitch, creating an entirely new definition of what a global sports icon looks like. Prior to this era, the most famous athletes in the world were bounded by the limitations of traditional media. But Ronaldo's rise perfectly coincided with the explosion of the digital age, and he leveraged his athletic dominance to build an empire that transcends sports entirely. Today, Ronaldo is the highest-earning footballer on the planet, pulling in an unprecedented annual valuation of $300 million in 2026. That level of financial scale is completely reflective of his unprecedented digital footprint. He is, without close competition, the most followed individual on Instagram, commanding an audience of over 666 million followers on that platform alone. When you aggregate his reach across every single major social media platform combined, he became the first person in human history to ever surpass the 1 billion followers milestone. To contextualize that number, 1 billion people represents more than 1/8 of the total population of planet Earth. It means that a massive portion of the civilized world is actively plugged into the daily life, fitness routines, and career updates of a single athlete. He has evolved past the status of a sports star and converted himself into the most recognizable living brand in human history.
When you look back at the history of sports, every era tries to claim that its heroes are the greatest. The fans of the 1970s will point to the raw brilliance of Pelé. The fans of the 1980s will argue for the unmatched genius of Diego Maradona. The modern generation will point directly to the incredible rivalry between Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Those arguments will continue in bars, stadiums, and comment sections forever because they are based on how those players made people feel. You cannot measure genius, you cannot quantify artistic beauty, and you cannot put a mathematical formula on the joy a player brings to a specific fan base. But you can measure goals, you can measure appearances, you can measure titles across multiple countries, international records, and global reach. And that is where the conversation changes. The debate over style is entirely subjective. The numbers, however, are entirely objective. Looking closely at the current landscape of global football, at the new generation of rising stars, the intense physical demands of the modern schedule, and the tactical evolutions designed to shut down elite attackers, the question becomes simple. Does any active player today possess the specific combination of physical durability, mental obsession, and sheer longevity required to even look at these records, let alone break them? Or are we currently witnessing a statistical high watermark that the sport will never reach again? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Let us know whether you think these records are completely safe or if there is someone in the new generation who has a realistic shot at chasing down the data. If you want more analytical, factual breakdowns of the biggest metrics in sports, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We will see you in the next video.